Good morning, children. Today we will do the question answer of this lesson, How to Tell Wild Animal, Carolyn Wells. So we have already done the explanation. I have told you about the poetess, okay, and I would once like again to discuss the important points of the lesson, and then we will be doing the question and answer. So the name of the poet is How to Tell Wild Animal. It is poem number 4 from your book First Flight, written by the poetess Carolyn Wells. She was an American poet and she was born in Rahway, New Jersey, in the United States of America on 18th June 1862. And her mother was Anna Wells and father was William Wells. She was married to Edwin Horton, and children, after finishing her school, she worked as a librarian for the Raha Library Association. Her first book was published in 1896. This is all about the poem. Now, children, the theme of the poem is not what to say, a very great theme. It's simply a humorous poem. The poem want to suggest that there is some dangerous way to identify wild animal. And children, the rhyming scheme of the poem is, now we can see ABAB CC. Okay, that I will be telling you in the last also how to find out the rhyme scheme of the poem. So if you, now I will be telling you about the important points of the poem. If you go by chance to the jungles of the countries lying in the east, so if you are going by chance to the jungle of the country lying in the east, you will see a grand and majestic lion, wild beast. If in those thick forests, if you see a large and terrible or horrible animal with a dark yellowish skin, you should be sure that he is an Asiatic lion. And if he roars loudly and the roars terrifies you, okay, then you are hearing the roar of an Asiatic lion, and the roar is so what to say, horrible, that it terrifies you to death. So it is, if you go by chance, so children, the first animal in this poem, How to Tell Wild Animals, is about Asiatic lion, and which is a great and majestic wild beast of the eastern forest, which is found in the jungle of the eastern countries of Asia. It is used tawny colored. What is the meaning of tawny colored? Yellowish brown color beast. It roars terribly loud, and its loud roar can terrify you to death. If you meet such a ferocious and powerful animal, you must be sure that he is an Asiatic lion. Now, in the second stanza, the poet has described about the Bengal tiger, which is considered to be a very noble beast. What is the meaning of noble? Very generous beast. Now, children, how this poem is humorous? This poem is humorous because at the time she is telling the beast noble, and at the other time he is attacking the animal. This makes the poem humorous. So if you are roaming around in the forest and you see a noble beast, you must understand that you face to face with the Bengal tiger. This noble beast has black stripes all over his yellowish body. He is so quick that the moment you notice he will jump and he will eat you at once. This is the simple rule of distinguishing the Bengal tiger. So the tiger has black stripes all over his yellowish hide, and the moment you see him, he will not spare you, but he will eat you at once. Now, if you are strolling leisurely, or if you are walking leisurely in the forest and view a beast, it must be a leopard. His hide his whole yellowish skin is covered with the black dark spot which is scattered all over his body. The moment he sees his prey, he jumps upon it, he pounces upon it, he attacks it sudden. There is no escape from him. Even if you cry with pain, he will continue jumping at you and start eating you before you understand that he is a leopard. So, when you are strolling means walking in a very leisurely mood, in a leisurely way in a forest, then children you can find certain beast, and he is the leopard. His hide is peppered with spotted, his whole skin is peppered, it is scattered with spots. On the yellowish skin, the black spots will be seen everywhere. There is no escape from him even if you cry in pain. So even if you will cry in pain, there is no escape from him. He will continue pouncing on you and eat you to death, and he will keep pouncing on you and he will eat you to death. If you're walking in your yard, you can be faced with a bear. Now, if you're walking in the yard, you can face with the bear. The bear hugs very hard, so hard that it can be a deadly hug. What is the meaning of deadly hug? That means that you can die also if he hugs very tightly to you. So the hug is not friendly. Okay. So the moment he sees you, he hugs you very hard. If he does it so, you must show that you are hugged by a bear. If you have any doubt in your mind, then he will just give you another tight hug. This hug may seem friendly, but it can be fatal. That means a person can die with this hug. He may press you so hard that his hug may bring you death. An inexperienced person can't distinguish beast of prey. He will not be able to distinguish a hyena from a crocodile. So, if it is not easy job for an inexperienced person, novice means an inexperienced person, to distinguish beast of prey, he will be confused in distinguishing them. He may not be able to distinguish between a hyena and a crocodile. Hyena are very deceptive. They will attack their victims with weird smile and kill them. Crocodile pretend to be weeping before attacking and killing their victims. A true chameleon is a small animal. It looks like a lizard. It has no ears at all. It doesn't have a single wing either. If you see only this creature on the tree and not on any other thing, you must be sure that you are seeing a chameleon. So, if you by chance go to the eastern part of the forest and if you find a small lizard-like things on a tree, okay, which has no ears, no wings, so such a creature is a chameleon. That's all. So now children, first I will be doing the explanation of the textual question, and then we will be doing some important question from the sample paper. So NCERT textbook questions I am going to do first. So our first question is, does dine, D-Y-I-N, actually it is dying, D-Y-I-N-G. The first, does dying really rhyme with loin? Can you say it in such a way that it does? So children, if you will go and read the first stanza first. If you will go, if you will see the first stanza and see the last two lines of the first stanza, which I am going to read for you. If he roars at you as you are dying, you will know if it is the Asian loin. So children, the writer is asking, is this this word is used for bringing rhyming effect? So first of all children, the last two words are not matching. Dine and loin, not matching at all. Though the writer has produced the children, it has wanted to produce a rhyming scheme, but the reality is that it doesn't produce any types of rhyming scheme. So dine really does not rhyme with loin. The poet used poetic devices like this to create a rhyming effect in the poem. So the word dine is used so that when we pronounce it, it rhymes with the word loin. But actually, if you will see dine and loin, okay, it is not at all producing the effect. Okay, so the question is, does dine really rhyme with loin? Can you say it in such a way that it does? So no, dine really does not rhyme with loin. The poet uses poetic devices like this to create a rhyming effect in the poem. So the word dine is used so that when we pronounce it, it rhymes with the word loin, but actually if we will read, it does not produce the rhyme scheme. In and loin are the two different words. Question number 2. How does the poet suggest that you identified the lion and the tiger? When can you do so according to him? We can distinguish the lion and the tiger if we notice their appearance. So the poet is asking here, how does the poet suggest that you can identify the lion and the tiger? When can you do so according to him? So if we can distinguish the lion and the tiger if we notice their appearances, their colors of the skin and their movement. Like the Asiatic lion is found in the eastern countries. He is a large animal of yellowish brown color. When he advances with a loud and terribly roaring sound, one feels at it one is dying. On the other hand, the Bengal tiger is a wild beast of noble appearance. It has black stripes scattered all over his yellow skin. The tiger never gives you a chance to escape if by chance you come in front of him. So children, how does the poet suggest that you identify the lion and the tiger? So children, that Asiatic lion is found in the eastern countries. He is a large animal of yellowish brown color, and when he advances with a loud and terrible roaring sound, one feels as if one is dying. On the other hand, the Bengal tiger is a wild beast of noble appearances. It has black stripes scattered all over its yellow skin. The tiger never gives you a chance to escape if by chance you come in front of him. Now question number 3. So what is question number 3? Do you think the word leapt and leapt in the third stanza are spelled correctly? Why does the poet spell them like this? So let's first of all children, we will read this stanza 3. So stanza 3 you can see in the last line, children, of stanza 3. I will do no good to road with pain. No, it is here. If strolling forth a beast you view, whose hide with spot is peppered, as soon as he has leapt on you, you will know it is a leopard. I will do no good to roar with pain. In the last line it is there. He will only leap and leap again. So this is written in the last line of para 3. So question number third is, do you think the word leapt and leapt, two words are there, L-E-P-T, leapt and leapt, is the third stanza. In the third stanza, are spelled correctly, why does the poet spell them like this? So the poet always uses different device to create poetic effect. The words leapt, L-E-P-T, and leapt, L-E-P, are deliberately not spelled correctly. So deliberately these two words are not spelled correctly. The correct spellings are leapt, L-E-A-P-T. So the correct spelling are L-E-A-P-T and leap, L-E-A-P. So what are the two spelling? L-E-A-P-T for leapt, and for L-E-P it is L-E-A-P, leap. Okay. So the correct spelling are leapt, L-E-A-P-T, and L-E-A-P, leap, respectively. The poet has spelled them so that he may maintain the rhyming of the poem. When spelled in this way, the poet can maintain the rhyming scheme of the poem, so that they may rhyme with the first part of leopard. And children, it should rhyme with the first part of the leopard. So this is all. Now question number 4. Do you know what a bear hug is? First of all, what is the meaning of hug? To embrace somebody. Okay, that is hug. So do you know what a bear hug is? Is friendly and strong hug such as bears are thought to give as they attack you. Again, hyenas are thought to laugh and crocodile to weep crocodile tears as they swallow their victim. Are there similar expressions in popular ideas about wild animal in your own language? A very peculiar type of question, but then we have to do it. So children, a bear hug is very intimate and powerful hug. How you will start? A bear hug is very intimate, I-N-T-I-M-A-T. That means close, and a very powerful hug. It is tight and strong hug. So this hug is tight, that means with the full force he is hugging. So that hug is very tight and a strong hug. This is a kind of hug that bears are thought to give to their preys, P-R-E-Y-S. They appears to be friendly, but in reality they can be deadly. Hyena have a weird smile, and they smile like human before attacking their prey. Their smiles are deceptive. Similarly, the weeping of a crocodile before it swallows its victim is also very deceptive. Yes, definitely, every language has similar expression and popular ideas about animal. Okay, so each language will have different style. Okay, and like people can change the word meaning or spelling also, like leapt, leapt, and leapt. It was spelled wrongly in the poem. Why? Because writer just want to have a poetic effect, but if you see in reality, they was not at all, the words were not matching and they were not at all poetic effect here. Now we will go to the children question number 5. Okay, so what is question number 5? Look at the line, a novice might non-plus. What do you mean by novice? Novice, I told you in my previous video, novice means an inexperienced person, and non-plus is confused. A novice might non-plus. How would you write this correctly? Why is the poet's incorrect line better in the poem? The line, a novice might non-plus is deliberately written incorrect. It can be correctly written as a novice might be non-plussed. The poet's incorrect line suits the rhyming scheme of the poem better than the correct version. Better than the correct version. It is written so that the non-plus may rhyme with thus in the 4th line of the 5th stanza. So Children, non plus is matching. Definitely it is matching with the thus. This is the only where the correct line scheme goes. Okay. So you can see here, children, that here what the poet is telling. Let me revise this question again. A novice might non plus is deliberately written incorrect. It can be correctly written as a novice might be non-plussed. Non-plussed spelling is NONPLUSSED. So it can be correctly written as a novice might be non-plus. The poet's incorrect line suits the rhyme scheme of the poem better than the correct version. It is written so that non-plus may rhyme with thus in the fourth line of the fifth stanza. Now question number 6. Can you find other example of poets taking liberties with language either in English or in your own language? Can you find example of humorous poem in your own language? So children, yes, poets generally take liberties with language to create a special poetic effect. We call it a poetic license. So this license is not given to an ordinary people. This is only given to the poets or the person who is writing something very special. So they only get this poetic license. They have got a full liberties to create a special poetic effect of in the language. For example, in the following line, the word pressed is used instead of pressed. So children, the correct word is PRESSED, pressed, but it is here used here as PREST. If we or you will write, children, the word will tell that we don't know the spelling of pressed, PRESSED. But since the poetic license is given to the poet, so he has got full liberty to write PREST. So why did he do? To create a rhyming effect in the poem, so that pressed may rhyming with the word breast. Pressed and breast, these two things. Okay. A tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast. So these were the line. And just to rhyme with the word breast, the poet has used wrong spelled word of breast, that is PR. Okay, what should be the correct word? PRESSED, but he has used breast, PREST. Okay, just to give a rhyming effect. Now, much of the question number 7, much of the humor in the poem arises from the way language is used. Although the ideas are funny as well, if there are particular lines in the poem that you especially like, share this with the class. Speaking briefly about what it is about the ideas or the language that you like or find funny. So no doubt, much of the humor in the poem arises from the way language is used. So children, to give the poetic effect or the humorous effect, a poet can use humor, okay, from the way language he is using. Even the ideas are funny as well. Humor is mild but not. So children, we were discussing question number 7. So now I am going to, children, if you want you can note out, because even the answers are very peculiar of this question. No doubt much of the humor in the poem arises from the way language is used. So you can write, no doubt much of the humor in the poem arises from the way language is used. Even the ideas are funny as well. Humor is mild but not pungent. The pun of words create the desired effect. The following line deserves special merit in this regard. The awe of the Asiatic lion is expressed by the line, if he roars at you as you are dying, you will know it is Asian lion. Then the noble Bengal tiger is just noticed if he eats you. The seemingly friendly curious of the bear is described with a deadly effect. If you have any doubt, I guess he will give you just one caress. A novice may be nonplussed when he sees hyenas come with merry smile, but if they weep, they are crocodiles. So the weird smile of hyena is contrasted with the weeping of the crocodiles when they attack their victim. So children, the ideas are treated humorously here. Some animals may seem to be embracing, hugging or smiling merrily to their victim. But all such activities are very deadly. Okay. This smiling, hugging and embarrassing someone is not very friendly. It is very deceptive. People can be dead. Bears hug their victim by pressing them hard to death. Okay, so this were the question and answer. Now, few question answer I would like to say, children. I would like to ask some additional question answer I would like to do. How would you recognize the Asian lion? I think this is very easy. Some long question I will try to do it. Now, two long question I have. This is a bit long and a very important question. Every animal is unique and has some special characteristic. What traits did the poet adopt in distinguish various wild animals? So here you can write, no doubt every animal is unique. Every wild animal has its own special trait, color, size and characteristic. The Asian lion is found in the jungle of the eastern region. It is a huge and mighty creature with brownish hide. His roar is enough to terrorize a person to death. The Bengal tiger is a noble and impressive wild animal. He has a yellowish hide and black stripes all over it. The leopard has dark spots all over his body. He is very agile. The moment he sees its prey, he pounces upon it without showing any mercy. The bear is known by his strong and tight hug. It becomes rather difficult for a novice to distinguish among wild animals. However, hyenas and crocodiles can be easily recognized. Hyenas come smiling merrily while crocodiles appears to be weeping. The chameleon is a small creature like a lizard. He has no ears and does not have even a single wing. You can find him sitting on a tree. So this was the long question. One more long question, children, we will discuss. Caroline Well takes liberties with language and employs humor to describe the wild animal. Give some example of humorous description in the poem. It depends on the subject matter what style a poet chooses to adopt while writing a poem. The poem describes wild animals and how to distinguish them to avoid oversimplification and monotony. So once again, children, this question is tough. I am revising this line again. It depends on the subject matter what style a poet chooses to adopt while writing a poem. The poem describes wild animal and how to distinguish them to avoid oversimplification and monotony. The poet uses humor as an effective weapon. What is the meaning of monotony? Monotony means boring. The humor used in the poem is suggestive and mild. It is not biting or scathing. It's in effect. If the Asian lion roars at you as you are dying, the Bengal tiger is a noble wild beast that greets you when you are roaming around in the jungle. The unsparing leopard will show no mercy and it will do no good to roar with pain. If you have any doubt, the bear will give you just one more caress. The poet uses subtle humor when he say, hyena come with merry smile, but if they weep, they are crocodiles. So children, this is all. Okay. Now children, what humorous description do you find in the poem? So it depends individually also, but you can also write like this. We find some humorous descriptions about the animal in the poem. The poet has created it by the selection of words and his pattern of explaining. So how does a poet explain? The poet has created this effect by the selection of words and his pattern of explaining. As the Bengal tiger is described noble, the bear hugs and the hyena smile and the crocodile shed tears before killing a person. So children, all the important question has been discussed and we have completed this poem. Okay, and now children, we have done this poem and my video. I conclude my video here. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.